my name is Darren. I'm one of the co-founders of Mpool and League. We're going to do a session on content production now. So what is content production? It really is just the creation of the content in the content strategy and content calendar. It could be articles and blogs supporting social media content, written assets like ebooks, guides, and white papers, checklists, calculators, whether those are online or downloadable calculators, creating infographics or podcasts, video as an example. These are all different types of content that needs to be produced. So before you can start content production, the most important thing is to have your content calendar and content strategy signed off by your client. By no means should you be creating any content until you have sign off from your client. Okay, so your role in this process, or what you're going to deliver once you've been through this training, is essentially a project plan. And what you need to take into account is how long is it going to take to create this content? What people need to be available to produce it, both from the agency side and the client side? What budget is available? That's going to determine how quickly you can create it, how detailed it is, how much research it is, how long it is, how beautiful it is. And then how long is it going to take to get both sign off within the agency and sign off at the client? So to start off your project plan, there's several questions you need to ask yourself. First of all is what conversion assets need to be created in this period? Then what rich media assets need to be created in this period? What writing work, just writing, so blogs, articles, social media needs to be done? How long is the sign-off time? Obviously, the larger the company, the larger the brand you're working for, the more sign-off you're going to need to get and more time you're going to have to accommodate for sign-off. Then, how is your campaign library looking? So a campaign library is a library of blog content usually that promotes a particular campaign that has different assets such as ebooks and guides and calculators associated to it. Does that campaign library need topping up, or is it full? Then what are the diaries and schedules looking like for the people that need to give input into your content? And then finally, how long is any primary research going to take? And how long before you can actually begin producing content do you need to do this primary research? So talking about interviewing and research, if you are producing content purely based on internet research, there's going to be nothing new or unique about your content. It's basically going to be saying the same thing as everywhere else that you can get online. So it's really, really important to interview people at your client, at your brand, that give real opinion and real thought leadership. You should never be creating any piece of content just based off internet research. If budget allows, the best type of content is produced by doing quantitative and qualitative research. So there are three pieces of information that are critical for every single brief. Obviously, a brief is a lot more detailed than this, but this is the three most important things. First of all is the product tie-in, especially if this is a top of funnel or middle of funnel piece of content. How are you going to tie the product in? Should you even be tying the product in? Then when you were developing the strategy, whether it was in content strategy time or content calendar time or client brainstorm time, there would have been ideas and thoughts thrown out. It's really important to communicate those thoughts in the content brief. And then I think the last important thing is the most important. What is the feeling required when someone has finished reading this piece of content? Must it make them angry and so they want to go and do something about it? Must it make them feel like just going to go and buy this product? Must it make them want more information so they're going to download something further on your site? You must always, as in the brief, communicate what the person must feel once they have finished reading that piece of content. The next stage is once the content has been produced, and a very, very important part of the project plan is client approval time. So often you meet all your deadlines and then the client fails to meet theirs. So a good strategy here is to give a deadline as to when you need feedback or when you need sign off, and give consequences for if they do not meet that deadline. For example, if you do not give me feedback by the 5th of March, we will post this blog without your approval. As you know, Google and their competitors, spiders that crawl the internet, don't sleep. They're robots. And so we can't be waiting for content to be produced when we need to feed the robots. Then always make sure the client signs off on the brief. If they don't sign off on the brief, they're bound to have issues with the content that's being produced because they're going to want to change things fundamentally. Also, when sending off the content for approval, tell them how many reverts are allowed. At Endpoint League, we allow one revert on the piece of content. Then we allow another revert on those changes that were initially requested. So they can't go and make new changes to something that they signed off previously. Clients approve things much better when you send them stuff in bulk. So working on a campaign where you produce an ebook and 18 supporting blog articles with social media content that supports that ebook, that is derived from that ebook, as an example, will get approval much, much faster than sending them 1 or 2 articles a week. They cannot remember why you're writing this content. They do not understand the campaign or the strategy, and they have to re-educate themselves every single time. So bulk approval works a lot better. And don't forget that you will most likely have to re-educate them as to why you not only write in brochure-style content and you actually write in top-of-funnel content to attract a larger audience that is their perfect customer that does not even know they need them yet. So as a task for today, to go and test your project planning ability for content production, go to offers.empool.com/academy-content-prod and complete the task and find out which video to watch next in the series.